Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show. All right. Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
Bryn Pottie.
All right,
Bryn.
How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, pleasure is ours. Thank you very much. We are here at Jungle Jims.
Yes, and listeners,
second time.
I know we haven't really gone away off the air, but Matt and I have taken a 6-week break now from recording.
Yeah.
So that was the longest break we ever took, dude.
That's right. Longest break we ever. So yeah, you're kind of repopping our cherry here.
Cool. Do you guys have like a new perspective on everything since you left and you came back?
I mean, he went to Ireland, so I mean, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Ireland's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah?
I went with my dad and my brother. And we did like a boys trip through Ireland for like a week.
What?
Yeah.
What did you get? Like, what happened? Give me the top
drank.
the top three. I would believe that. Yeah.
We walked like 16,000 steps plus a day.
Damn.
Yeah, mild hangovers. Saw a lot of beautiful sights. Saw the Garrison Brewing place, of course. Saw the Jameson
St. James
distillery.
Gate.
Oh wow.
Saw Castle.
Okay.
Ashford.
Okay.
It looked like Shrek's castle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a lot of beautiful sights, beautiful people in Ireland. Like
Yeah.
the kindest people in Ireland I've ever met. Dare I say they're the nicest white people on the planet? Like
Nicer than France.
I don't want to rank white people in different countries right now, so maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'll just move on. Yeah. Oh,
They're pretty nice though.
they're very friendly.
That's
My
cool.
gosh, and like friendly, but not like nosy neighbor friendly. You know, just like nice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I like
Yeah.
people that are just nice and they're not trying to interview you when they meet you like we're trying to do with you.
Well, there's this guy I've been like obsessed with lately on like YouTube and Instagram. That the guy who says like, "Follow me, I'm delicious."
Yeah.
That Irish guy.
Have you seen that guy?
He
Maybe.
is awesome.
Is he the plastic surgery guy?
No.
Okay.
he's a guy. He's a little bit bigger guy. He's like long hair and like kind of a scruffy beard, and he does an incredible American accent.
Okay.
He does this great American accent, but like he basically just talks a lot about like how the Irish are, cliches kind of thing. But then he also compares to other countries, mostly Americans, a lot. And then at the end, he just says, "Follow me, I'm delicious." Right? But it's he does on these rants, and I just love them. Like they're but he embodies a lot of that because the one bit where he was talking about how like the Irish people, because you were saying how friendly they are and everything, but he's like, there's an Irish guy yelling at his kids will use lots of curse words, and he does this whole thing where he's like, there's a particular curse word that he likes to use that I won't say on air, but it is what it is. But it starts with a C.
Oh yeah, they really get away with that
Yeah.
in the UK. Eh?
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
word over there.
It's a big word.
Yeah.
And so he did this whole thing about how like this is what it sounds like with an Irish parent yelling at his kids, and then he was like, and this is an American parent. He's like, now Jimmy, you disappointed me. It was really great. I'm not as good as he is.
Did you ever know that if you go into Google, there are do's and don'ts? Like you can say, what are the do's and don'ts of this country? Like when I go and I travel to like Ireland, and like so Ireland, it's like don't bring up leprechauns. It like says that politely, It's kind of irritating. Yeah, it's like,
I had a long conversation with someone. about
you
that.
obviously didn't consult.
No,
Google
he
before
brought it
you
up
left.
to me.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in like this
Was
IRA.
he asking you
I was in this IRA
where
bar.
they were?
This is a bar that I was told when I first walked in, you had to speak Irish to get in it, and I was told not to say a word until I was introduced, and that I was told that I was from Canada. And I ended up talking to this guy, and this guy gave me like a lesson, like a history lesson on Ireland, and he talked about leprechauns and like where the lore came from and everything.
The IRA guy talked about leprechauns.
Sure did. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and then he just, at the end, he was just like, tiddly-dee potatoes, and then just ran away.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, it was a awesome conversation, and he did talk about leprechauns.
There you go.
well, hey, you can't.
You probably just can't go up to him and say like, "Where are your lucky charms?"
Yeah, but maybe it's like an AI thing. Like Google just like ran through an AI to be like, what are the
Right.
do's and don'ts?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the computer assumed you're not supposed to talk about leprechauns.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's.
But it also said don't get upset when you hear Irish folks swear a lot. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's very, a little
Ingrained.
bit more ingrained there, a little bit easier than it is here. They said so. Don't be turned off by the cursing and swearing.
I hear in like England, you're supposed to be okay with people like peeing on the street a lot more as well.
Oh, really?
You're supposed to just kind of let that slide to an extent that we wouldn't do here. But again, I'm an ignorant, an ugly Canadian, as they say.
I wouldn't say you're ignorant. So we should go to you now. This is so.
Well, but you guys just went on a trip to Ireland. That's big.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a trip of a lifetime. Yeah, I'd be happy to be back too. But yeah, so the Great Lunenburglary. I have a hard time with that word. Lunenburglary.
But it's a great play on words.
I originally wanted to call it Schooner Schemers, which is even harder to pronounce.
For folks aren't familiar with the town of Lunenburg in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Well, Schooner Schemers is a bit more universal, but at the same time, having a book that has Lunenburg like right on the title looks great in a Nova Scotia bookstore.
Yeah, it does. That's
right.
true.
And this is a comedy book, kind of for the casual reader.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a silly kind of like, I feel like I really, as I was writing it, I was like, I want somebody who has read like 5 books since high school to be able to pick this up, will read through it and have a nice time and not feel intimidated by the idea.
That sounds like my jam right there.
Great. No, and this is it. It's
but
like it's very hard.
You were complimented by some pretty renowned, at least Nova Scotia or Canadian renowned, including Leslie Choice.
That's right. I do have a quote from Leslie Choice.
What did he say? He said a nice thing.
He said, "A knee-slapping Nova Scotia tale that has the mark of a legendary Bluenose storyteller while adding a contemporary twist that will keep you wide-eyed and entertained through the most harrowing nor'easter."
And what did the guy for 22 minutes say about how the funniest book since...
He says, the funniest maritime book since Anne of Green Gables. Move over, Lucy. That's Bob Kerr, writer of 22 Minutes and Still Standing.
That was a great
As
line,
everyone knows that, the comedy that Anne of Green Gables is.
Oh, yeah. So it was side
There's some
splitting.
funny stuff.
Yeah.
They drink the raspberry cordial or whatever.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Still very popular in PEI. If you've been there, you can still buy it in some like as a tourist drink.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
My favorite quote that I got on it is not particularly accurate about 1920s radio, but totally accurate about Lockport, Nova Scotia. Boo! By Professor Ken Scott, author of On Our Wavelength, a broadcasting history from a Canadian perspective.
Amazing.
So I got a professor to say that.
So this is the first book you've written by yourself, basically.
My
is that
first
right?
book of all time.
So cool. That's some pretty high praise for a first book, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that praise on the praise. It was. And I had some people in my Rolodex to ask, and then the publisher asked a couple people as well, and I feel good about it.
What kind of inspired? Because we will talk a little bit more about the history of things that you've done in the past. But what inspired you? First of all, you have to be inspired to write a book, and then second of all, you have to be inspired to write this particular story. What kind of drew you to both of those?
I originally was like, this idea would be good as something.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no one would fund this as any kind of anything. So if it's a book, then even if nobody ever publishes it, I can publish it and it's done. It's I don't need to get people to rehearse this and put it up on the stage or like.
So this was a show in your mind of some sort, was it?
In my mind, I kind of thought of it as like a movie or like maybe like going way back. My original idea for it, I wanted to do something about history for a long time. My first idea was a movie about a World War II platoon that wants to lose their virginity before the war is over. And I had that well ran dry pretty fast. And then after that, I was in Nova Scotia, back in Nova Scotia during the pandemic, and my thought was Trailer Park Boys, but with rum running, in that era.
Okay.
And then it kind of led me to this, which is teens stealing the Bluenose.
Yeah.
And there are some like rum runners and like bootleggers and stuff in it. It's set in the 1920s, so it's like that kind of era. But it's like, when you think about, I would love to do that as a TV show or a movie, you're like, okay, everybody's going to wear period costumes and it's on a boat and there's a big bunch of people and it was never going to happen. So as a book, You can have anything happen.
And so for our listeners, the book, fiction, nonfiction, nonfiction with a little bit of fiction.
1,000,000% fiction.
1,000,000%.
They steal the Bluenose, man. It's like teenagers that steal the
It's about
Bluenose.
teenagers steal the Bluenose.
That could have actually happened.
It could have.
Easily could have happened, right?
That's what makes. Yes. What if it?
We
did?
have a Bluenose too.
It's true. We don't know where number one is.
They're still out there with number one.
Yeah, it could be.
There you go.
That's what we think is like all the ghost ships and stuff. It's just,
Good call.
yeah, those teenagers are now 90.
Well, yeah, I assume that they're dead by now for sure.
Yes, I would assume so.
So was it hard writing in the 1920s, getting your head in that mind space, dude?
Yeah,
I'll be honest, it's a very cartoon version
Right.
of the 1920s. The reason why it was fun to write in that time is it's like, I'll go off on a bit of a tangent if we don't mind on this.
That's okay.
In this drinking podcast, if I go
This
off on a bit
tangent
of
was
a
brought to you by Blue Moon.
Right before writing this book, I had been working on a series for Audible that didn't wind up happening. It was two friends of mine and I wrote this series about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig on a road trip together.
Okay.
When they like got stranded on the West Coast and had to like make their way back together, and there were 9 episodes, and each one was like an inning, and like.
This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
Anyway, it was set in the 1920s. Very shortly before we went to production, like we've been paid to do the scripts, we'd done multiple drafts. They were like, "Hey, we're actually not going to do it."
Brutal.
And then it turned out that a Saturday Night Live writer had a show with them about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig at the same time. And so obviously you're going to pick the famous guys, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig show instead of mine.
Right.
No ill will. But my mind was kind of like set in that old timey frame creatively. And it's just fun because you can kind of, it makes it a cartoon world in a way where like anything can happen.
A little more of a sandbox, yeah.
Yeah, you can. A big part of the book is about like a radio host and them being on the radio, and like there's like the bootlegging like gangster guy. There's just stuff that like if you put in now, it just would be, you couldn't do it quite as silly. I think something about making it old timey gives you license to just be like
Stories in themselves, I mean, have been probably more of a challenge to write since mobile phones came out.
exactly.
Like, I think of that all
yeah.
the time when you're watching movies, like even like the last Scream, right? You got the house phone. and
Yeah.
it just works with that wouldn't work as well with a cellular
It is
phone.
true when you watch, like, sometimes you watch old movies and things like that, or even old TV shows where you're on, like, the fringe of maybe, where you're sometimes thinking, like, oh, just call them on your cell phone. It's like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah,
It's like, just look
I
that
need
up.
to-
No, you can't.
Another thing that they always do in old movies that just wouldn't work now is when they're like, "You have to do this, or I'm going to tell the newspaper," and then the people are like, "Well, all right, whatever you want." Like nowadays, we'd be like, "I'm going to tell the newspaper," and they'll be like, "All right, go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
just going to go to my own newspaper and say that it's fake."
Yeah.
No one cares.
More of a threat to say, like, I'm going to make a post about it.
Yeah. All right, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, now you've had some really good writing experience too. I mean, I think fun writing experience, like with Beaverton.
I have written for the Beaverton.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
fun.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
love
love
them.
I love
They're great.
reading them.
Yeah.
I had for years. I mean, now
they're super cool.
That's something I've always wanted to do, too, is like, write satire. It'd be fun.
I'll give you some email addresses off there if you want to pitch to the Beaverton. But,
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're cool. Luke Gordon Field is the guy who runs that, and I got involved with them. My friend Miguel, who hosted the TV version of the Beaverton, they were doing a live show with all the cast of the TV show and some of the writers, and he brought me in to do some kind of a character. I forget much of the details, but I was on their live show and I met the guys through that, and then I started pitching some articles, and I'm happy with the ones that I got on there. It's a funny site.
There was a couple articles mentioned on your website. What were they? They were like a couple of the headlines you had.
My favorite one that I've ever done for them is Rich Dad Greenlight's independent film.
That's a good one. There was a woman with Nova Scotia walking into
Oh, yes. Nova Scotia voted best place in the country to walk into the sea and end it all. And
I like that. It was dark, beautiful.
Property Brothers can't repair relationship with Property Dad.
There was a few greats, yeah, for sure. And then you also wrote for like a book. I mean, my stepdaughter was obsessed with the Meatball show.
The Clyde of the Chance of Meatballs TV show. Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've never heard of Love for the Show. I know the movies were...
probably more the movies.
Fair enough.
But it's just everything kind of spun off.
Yeah.
So if it was, of the multiverse of the Meatball.
You know what was super cool?
Yeah.
The coolest part of that was... we got notes, quote unquote, from the directors of the movie, who are Miller and Lord, who also did the Lego movie. But more personal to me, Clone High was them.
Okay.
And
that was like an adult cartoon adult swim
in like
cartoon.
the early 2000s. That is like
I remember that.
my just the greatest.
What was the main character in that
Abe
show?
Lincoln.
You're right.
Voiced by Will Forte.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know I watched it. Yeah. I just can't remember.
I
it very
watched
well
that
right now.
DVD until it melted. But the coolest part was that those guys gave like notes on the episodes, but in the notes were like, "We don't have time for this. It's fine. We're making the Han Solo movie right now. Don't worry about it." But it was cool just to know that my name was in a PDF and an email attached to those guys.
That's pretty cool. And then you did. I mean, you did a lot of cool stuff. Looking at your story there with this comedy duo.
I wasn't a comedy duo. Yeah.
So you and this, it was slam poetry.
It was a slam. Okay. Yes, there is a bit of a long walk to how we got to there.
Okay. Walk me through it, man.
Okay. So like. This is another thing that like Gen Zs will not understand, but like it used to be that sketch comedy was something that you did at a live venue, and it was not like just a thing that you would be like, what if that, like the headline would say a guy doing this, and then you would film a couple examples on your phone, and that was it.
Right.
Not to go off. I'm deep into my pint. I'm going off.
No, that's okay. Do you want another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep this going. So I was in like a sketch troupe in Toronto called The Boom, and it was like 10 of us, and we had a monthly show at this place called The Supermarket, and then we moved to the Drake Hotel, and blah, 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 blah. We would just go up and do these like wacky scenes once a month, and it was 10 of us, and the shows were like sold out. Be getting hammered every time. It was a big party with like sketch comedy, super fun. But you can't be a 10 comedy team and expect that to become anything like this. You can't split the money 10 ways. You can't tour with 10 people, etc., etc.
Right.
Certainly makes it harder, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was also right at that time where it's just like Canada, now we make like one TV show a year.
Yeah.
And if it's not you, then try again next year.
Yeah, if you're not Corner Gas or Kim's Convenience.
Yeah. So anyway, nothing really happened with it, but one of the guys in it was really legitimately into slam poetry. And me and Hannon, this woman who was in it, made fun of him behind his back for quite a bit.
Really?
Until the two of us decided, hey, we're going to show you just how stupid this is by doing this sketch of the two of us calling ourselves Definition of Knowledge, because it was the most pretentious name we could think of. And we did this like slam poetry kind of stuff. And then we spun off into our own two-person
And what
thing.
did she have? She had on her T-shirt.
She had a T-shirt that said "Gentrify this," and there was an arrow down to her crotch. And then I had a big shirt that was a bunch of dollar signs on it that I found.
I saw one of the promotional posters where you guys would look like from the Belly soundtrack. Like if you remember
Yes.
this, so DMX and Nas made a really big hip hop movie. This is probably the year 2000, I think. It was the year 2000, pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you guys did that for your promotional poster. It was just freaking hilarious.
We
looking.
did that exact thing.
Yeah.
It was for our album cover. Yeah. Yeah, no, we had a great it's something that I think ran its course, and I love her. Like Hannah,
you guys did it for 8 years.
we did it for a long time, and we did.
Oh, yeah,
we had some great opportunities. Like we went to LA. I thought this was a prank, but we got an email, and I'll say who cares. We got an email that I was like, this has to be a prank, but it was from Naomi Odenkirk.
Okay.
He's like Bob Odenkirk's wife,
Wow.
also his manager, and Bill Hader's manager, et cetera, who was like, hey, I've heard about this wacky comedy tour you guys are doing up in Toronto. Would you ever want to come to LA and talk? And so, yeah, we went down there and we were doing some shows for her. We were doing cool LA shows. We had a meeting with her where she was like, look, love you guys, but I'm not going to do anything in Canada. You have to move down to LA if you want me to do anything with you. Ugh. And we were just like, we spent all our money on this visit. So anyway, that's who knows if we keep that in the show or not. But that was a cool opportunity. We did Fringe festivals. We did Austin Sketch Fest. We did a lot of festivals throughout the States and in Canada. Had a wonderful time. And she went on, she starred in the show on Crave called Bria Mack Gets a Life.
Oh, cool.
She's one of the co-stars on that. She's in The Boys. She's in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. She's in the show The Boys.
Yeah.
Wow. I've watched every episode of
Yeah, she's in that. She's in the Firestarter remake movie.
Okay.
No, she's crushing it. I have nothing but love for her, but I wound up leaving the city. And but yeah, it would much of our comedy duo stuff was she's a black woman, I'm a white guy.
Of course, yeah.
She would say something crazy, and I would be like, I don't know if that's right. And then the audience would get uncomfortable not knowing who to side with. Was most of
I love that.
Kind of like Colin and Michael from SNL before that kind of.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yes, we did a lot of similars. There was a poem called My Chocolate Body, where she would do this body affirmation thing about being a black woman, but get mad at me when I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. And she's like, no, you have to. And then I was like, okay.
So you did My Vanilla Body? Or
No. We said the same
chocolate?
stuff. We said the same stuff at the same time.
Oh, you said the
Yeah, I had to. She was like, you have to do it. And then the audience would be like, I don't know if we want him to or not. It was all playing with.
That's awesome.
It plays good with a live audience because everyone's just sitting on their hands do we like this? Do we not like it? And that uncomfortable middle is where we played around a lot.
Brilliant.
But people love that.
Everyone loved it.
I think everyone loves that stuff, right?
We did really well.
Was any of this taped or filmed? Can I watch it?
The tape is bad because it's it's one of those things where it's filmed from the back of the room. The audio sucks, and it's whatever. But yeah, we pitched it around as a TV show.
Seems like you could do a little sketch thing. I'm a big sketch comedy fan. I used to love we had Picnic Face here in Halifax.
Yeah,
if you remember, right? Those guys were fantastic.
Love all those guys.
Right? I thought you'd go to one of those shows live though, and you'd cry laughing.
Yes,
right? That was the difference when you saw it live. It was just understood the absurdity in the room at the moment, and they were so quick, and they were so.
Those guys are.
Everyone was feeding off each other's energy, and it was just something else, right?
Every single one of them. Mark Little is one of the best.
Right.
One of our best as far as Canadian comedians is concerned.
100%. Now I like the.
And they ended up going to Mr. D, a couple of them from Picnic Face.
Oh
yeah. Well, they had their own TV show, and we would do stuff with them in Toronto all the time. It was
hit or miss for some people. You ever watch that show? I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson on Netflix. I think that's
Big
fantastic.
You love that show.
That's my favorite.
You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I don't like it nearly as much as he does. Okay. That's, I think, the thing.
I hear you.
I don't know why I connect with that show so much, but I could watch almost so many of the sketches over and over again and laugh continuously. My partner, she loves it too. So we can both throw it on together and just laugh. Right?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
He sent it to me and was like, dude, this. I think he just built it up to me. He was like, this is the funniest thing you'll watch it. It's the funniest thing. And I watched it and I was like, it's not the funniest thing ever.
I love the Ghost Host Tour. I think that's probably the one I sent him.
He loves that.
That's my favorite.
There's tons of great ones, but the Ghost Host Tour is just so stupid.
It gets that
perfectly brilliant.
It gets that specific thing.
And for people listening, if the Tim Robinson Ghost Tour is basically he goes to a nighttime tour where you can say whatever you want, and he
kinda
decides
like
to
this show.
say some overly explicit things while he's on this, evening ghost tour with a bunch of kind of more respectable adults that don't really want to hear what he's saying.
He gets very upset that they changed the rules. Have you seen Detroiters?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, love Detroiters as well.
Some of the best, like shows like that. So I watched Detroiters because of that Netflix show, and hopefully they bring that back because that Sam guy's really funny too.
He's
right?
great.
He's brilliant.
They're both-
brilliant
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
No, I mean, sketch comedy is one of those things that it's kind of a lost art form in a way. I think Tim Robinson is keeping it alive, but it's like, it's an art that lost is wrong. It's an art form that has changed a lot
Yes.
to the point where I don't quite get it.
I don't.
What it is now,
Well,
and that's not on anybody. That's on me. Like
No, but you watch Saturday Night Live now, and it's a lot more hit or miss than it was.
I feel like everybody, depending on their age, says that.
Right.
No,
there's the people.
I agree
Our
with you on
parents
that.
would be like, when Joe Piscopo left, it started to suck.
Yeah,
and for us, it's
yeah,
like when
yeah.
Will Ferrell left, it sucked.
Yeah.
I think that everybody's got that.
Personally, I'm Saturday Night Live to me was like 1990 to 96.
Right.
Those were like the golden years
96.
for me.
We were so young then, like
Because Will Ferrell
to be
started coming on the
honest.
scene
Yeah,
then. He was doing some good stuff then, like kind of thing, right? But it was like they lost a lot of the real heavy hitters by
But I
'96.
love Sandler and Spade and Rock.
They were on that.
They
That
were
was
on
time, yeah, but
in
that was
the
93,
early
94,
90s, yeah.
right?
Okay, yeah.
That's his golden era for sure. I think the thing with sketch comedy now is that it's like, I'll go off on this. I'm Professor Sketch Comedy. I'm a pinty.
let's go in.
I think Chappelle Show changed the game.
Yeah.
Okay,
In a
for better or
huge
for
way.
worse?
For better, but it changed the game in the way that, like, what he would do. Thank you. He would tell you what the premise of the sketch was off the top.
Right.
He would do a monologue where he was like, I was thinking, what if real life was like a video game? Whereas on Saturday Night Live, the sketch begins and it's like we gradually find out that real life is like a video game. He tells you this is the premise, and then the sketch is examples of that premise.
Yes.
Right.
And that
So
moved the ball
curated it a
forward.
bit. And I think he just had to do that to kind of give himself a bit of a safety net because the shit he was doing was so extreme,
it was crazy.
right?
It was new for the time. He was a bit ahead of his time, right?
I think that's a DVD set that I would say that anybody our age, like,
all had it.
all of our roommates have had it if we didn't have it.
We all had it.
That's
I remember sitting there watching it around with my friends when we got like the third season came out, which was like 2 episodes.
a couple and Darnell and Eddie Murphy's Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, and I thought Charlie Murphy was brilliant.
Amazing. And Darnell, like, I saw him just for laughs a couple years ago.
Donnell.
Donnell Williams, I want to say. I forget his last name. Donnell Rollins.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong,
the,
then put a disclaimer in.
No, you're saying the name wrong, but I don't know it either, so that's okay because I'm terrible at names.
That other guy.
So
I saw him do live.
I'm actually
live
surprised he
stand-up
hasn't
once,
called
and
you
he was-
Brian yet. So
You would not be the first. You won't be the last.
Rollins, though, I think his last name is
Fair
Rollins
enough.
or Rollins.
Hey.
Okay, so he was the reason I found the Kill Tony podcast because he was kicked off of it, and I was listening to Charlemagne the God.
Yep.
You know that guy from
Of
Hot
course.
97.
No, I know that.
And I was listening to them. They were talking about the fallout that he had on that show. He left because they were kind of making fun of him, and he got mad. And he left in the middle of the episode. So I went to go listen to that episode, and I said, "Wait a second. There's a podcast dedicated to comedians getting up for 1 minute and then getting eviscerated by other comics. This is ridiculous."
That's tough stuff.
You watch it?
No,
Or listen-
I
oh.
can't. I couldn't do that. That's
No.
comedians making fun of each other. I'm in a number of group chats about that, and I couldn't. I would never want to see that displayed publicly because it's mean.
It's brutal.
I'm involved in
ruthless.
some of like the absolute meanest group chats, and we have certain people that we pick on, and it is really
So
sad stuff.
Kill Tony is filmed in Texas.
Yeah.
And so they've all moved, like it's the mothership, right? It's all attached to like Joe Rogan's and all that stuff.
yeah.
So they're they go pretty hard in the paint.
I believe it.
And it's basically like, I would say that, I don't get me wrong, I love it. I have a dark sense of humor. But it is definitely the group chat you don't want to get out aired.
Couldn't
Correct.
handle it. I personally couldn't handle it. I need, when I'm saying those kinds of things, I need to know that it's it's a secret.
I'm the same. I have a dark sense of humor, but I like to keep it real close to my chest, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you still do stand up yourself? You were doing stand up.
No.
Yeah? So you're
you know
done?
what? No, I did stand up for a little bit as like a teen, basically, and it just, I never.
This episode is brought to you by Strategy Up. Strategy Up is a business consulting firm led by Mark Zerka, who has over 20 years' experience in building commercial strategies that will up your game, organize your teams, increase your productivity, and grow your business.
Whether you're a construction company looking to grow your revenue or a busy restaurant owner just trying to keep the doors open, Strategy Up can help. Strategy Up's boutique-style consultations will help you improve business process across nearly any industry.
Being a successful entrepreneur does not mean you have to be an expert in everything. Strategy Up specializes in building a relationship with you. Once pain points in the business are realized, Strategy Up will introduce process and technology that will power up your game to the next level.
A successful business requires investment. Your next step towards growth starts now. Email info@mystrategyup.com for a free business discovery call. Up your game with Strategy Up.
I'm not great at it. It's something that I'm not naturally very good at. I don't, the structure of it. I've got a lot of like some of my best friends are stand-ups. I've got a lot of deep respect for it. It was the kind of thing where I think I've done it like 50 times in my life. I wasn't getting that great at it. Wasn't getting a lot of enjoyment out of doing it. And, you know, those rooms, that stage time, it was like, I'm taking this away from somebody who really wants to be up on the stage. So I'm going to step aside and let somebody who cares get better instead of me just like wanting to hang out with my friends. And, you know, I was in a situation where to hang out with your friends, you have to go to the friggin' Fox and Fiddle across from the Hooters, and we're all doing the open mic. And like, I'm either hanging around there watching other people do stand up, so I may as well do it too. But it was just kind of like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But again, not because I don't like it or I think that there's anything wrong with it. If it's not, it's one of those things where if it's not for you, it is not for you.
When you see
I love stand-up comedy. I can't do it. I don't think I could do it.
I've tried it. I mean,
if you love it and want to do it, I think it's the repetition. It's like that's the thing I think people don't get about it is that they're like, oh, I couldn't do it, but it's like the reason you couldn't do it is because you have to be doing it twice a night,
right?
For fucking like 4 bleeping like 3 years before you're okay.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Like you're.
And even then, you might not be great.
And
Like it's
even
almost
then,
10 years till most of these guys can really kind of start cutting through and getting. And that's only if you're actually truly kind of creative or.
If it's truly for you, there's certain people who I see do it. Friends of mine, like somebody like Keith Pedro is a friend of mine, or Dylan Gott, like people who like you see them up on the stage, or these Canadian comedians, you see them up there. Steph Tolov, like people who you watch them do it, and you're like, this person is like made to.
They
do
belong
this.
there.
This is. It took them a while to figure it out, but like this is their. This is what they should be doing with their life.
Yeah,
and if you're not that person, then somebody else is, and you're taking away their opportunity to become that.
I never thought of it. Like
some people just need to find
their
find their timing and their voice, right? Because that's a big thing of comedy. Is like all three of us could say the exact same 2-sentence joke, and it come off very differently based on our cadence and the way we kind of like our voice and stuff like that too, and
your own experience. I think that's the mistake that a lot of comedians make when they get started. Not mistake. A big part of being on the way to developing your comedy voice is just being like, hey, here's something about a movie that I thought was funny, or like, hey, here's something funny that I saw on TV or whatever. But like to become the real like. To really develop your own comedy voice, it's going to be like, what is it about me? What does my experience bring to this that's different? And that takes a long time to develop.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Hey, I studied under. I went to a community college course in comedy, writing and performance.
You did a community college. There's a community college course in comedy
in Toronto.
Wow.
That's I at 17 years old, I moved from Lunenburg to Etobicoke. to take this community college course in comedy writing and performance. At that time, it was a very Hells Angels dominated neighborhood.
Okay.
It was a rough, crazy time in my life.
How old were you then?
I was 17.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
young to be that. Like you obviously were pretty headstrong, dude, getting into that.
It was like
that age.
I was gonna go do something crazy, and the fact that there was school attached to it was like my parents would be like, "All right, okay,
going to-
it's school.
I'm going to clown college, mom. You can't stop me.
What are you gonna do about it?" So yeah, it was some of the wildest things I've ever seen or done in my life happened there.
Yeah.
And there was a Hells Angels bar right across the street, and I was 17, and they were like, underage drinking is like the least of the crimes that happens here. So come on, whatever, man. And
Let's be honest, underage drinking is probably the least of the crimes happening anywhere.
But in a bar though, it's a
Yeah.
crime. But
Yeah.
they were like, whatever. It was fun. And yeah, I studied under like Larry Horowitz, this woman Robin Duke, who had been on Saturday Night Live in the 80s, was my sketch teacher.
Whoa.
Joe
Cool.
Flaherty from SCTV.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he is. Yeah,
came
yeah,
in
yeah.
and did some. His brother Dave Flaherty, lesser known,
Okay.
but insane, like an insane person, but one of those like crazy people where you're
Dave
like,
Flaherty, though, was in Maniac Mansion.
Yes, he
Mansion,
was.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, he was out.
Because
to
he was
lunch.
the Fly, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's R.I.P. But like, man, what
Whirlwind.
like they picked this guy off of the street and put him in front of a classroom full of students. And
That's awesome.
My God, I loved that man.
That was an
Yeah.
underratedly good
Yeah.
Canadian show.
Absolutely.
That was like a little bit dark, and I think people just weren't quite ready for it at its time.
No, Canada has like some shows that are like either this is trash or this is like so weird that it's maybe one day.
Like, honestly, I almost feel like if that show aired today, it might actually have gotten a following more than it did in like
for
the
sure.
early 90s or whatever it was when it was on.
I'd
But
love
it was-
to have
it
two
was
more
based
points,
on a video
points with you,
game.
Bryn.
That's right. It was based on a video game. That's right.
I'd love to have 2 more points with you, Bryn, and rate Canadian shows trash or trash or treasure.
number one, trash and best, Murdoch Mysteries.
So you love Murdoch Mysteries, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
It's Our Family Matters.
Okay.
In that we're on season 18. We're well beyond the point of any of the stories making any sense. There are jetpacks. There are laser guns.
Murdoch Mysteries
yeah.
there is?
There's a spin-off show about going back in time. They're like
I've never watched the show.
Like Charlie Chaplin has been a murder suspect. James Naismith, the inventor of basketball, has been a suspect.
So is he a time-traveling mystery solver?
No, but he has a
frick is
great
he?
granddaughter who comes back to his time in the spin-off Macy Murdoch.
Oh my!
Dude, this blew my mind.
It's wild.
I thought this was like a dry, like...
That's what everybody thinks, but it's out to lunch. There's a
Very inappropriately named, I must say. Very inappropriately named.
It's Murdoch, and he's solving the mystery.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, but I didn't realize it was a comedy. I guess I probably would have.
It's not.
It's not. Okay.
No, it's
just out to
dead
lunch.
serious. But like, there's one more that like okay.
So they got jetpacks and they do this stuff all deadpan? Like,
He
serious?
and Nikola Tesla invent a laser gun together and shoot somebody in the head and then escape in a hot air balloon at the end of an episode.
How much LSD are the writers doing?
I don't know. It's
Are
a
they just
pure
like-
stream of consciousness show.
Is nobody
It's
watching
wild.
this show and they could just do whatever the heck they want? Do you think that's
But
maybe
like,
the...
all of our grandparents are watching it and they just think it's great. It's
Wow.
It's like there's an episode where somebody it's like set in like 1910.
Yeah.
This guy invents the internet with these like
In 1910?
Yes, with these like steampunky keyboard things with a sepia monitor.
Before the circuit.
Yes.
Okay.
He invents this crazy internet thing, and then like somebody immediately sends like a sepia toned dick pic on it, and
No
that's a clue
way.
to one of the murders. Like this show is nuts.
It's
and this is
unhinged.
like 4 seasons ago, and we're still going.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will watch
I have to
will
watch
watch
it
this
now.
within the next week, dude.
There's one where like Sir Wilfrid Laurier gets poisoned by a butter tart. Like it
That's
goes-
very cliche Canadian. That's
yeah.
great.
And there's always something where they're like, drinking coffee instead of tea will never catch on. There's always like some
yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
little thing like that. It's nuts. It's It's nuts.
Wow. Jeez, that's
That's yeah. I've never watched. I try to support Canadian TV as much as possible.
It's difficult.
I'm a big fan of Corner Gas, big fan of Kim's Convenience. Love Jerry D, like Mr. D or whatever. Like Trailer Park
Paw
Boys,
Patrol, obviously.
I've watched Trailer
I've
Park
never watched
Boys.
Paw Patrol, but yeah, I have a 3-year-old and I've never watched Paw Patrol.
How did you get away with that?
He's never watched it. He's never watched it. We don't give him a lot of screen time.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He gets very little. Oddly enough, he's he prefers reading and like sitting down and like books and stuff like that and everything. So he does like movies and things like that. But because we prolonged the screen time for this amount of time, and even when he does have it, we're very strict about it. He doesn't ask for it too much. He's actually managed. He loves Star Wars.
Okay.
So he's watched a lot of that. He's actually watched the original trilogy. He'll sit down, like at 3 years old, he'll sit and watch the original trilogy, right?
Well, they're great.
They are great. And we watched Road One as well. So we're 4 movies in, and he's obsessed with Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Obsessed
So
with
it's
Darth
so
Vader.
cool.
He
Star
goes
Wars fan?
around like
I'm kind of a lapsed Star Wars fan, I
Okay.
would say. I've been I've started watching Andor, and I do like that.
I like that one too.
I haven't watched that one yet.
I found a lot of the Star Wars things are just too much for the fans in a way where, like, I tried to watch the Boba Fett one, and I was like, I know who Boba Fett is. I should be able to understand this, no problem. And then first episode, I was like,
Completely lost.
I needed to have read novels and watched several animated series to follow what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Boba Fett, I thought it was okay.
Okay.
Mandalorian was awesome.
I thought that was fun.
It's fun.
I really like Mandalorian.
They kept it simple though.
But it's a good story, and it's kind of like it's it's just in the universe. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you don't have to know too much about it. It could actually also just not be Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing Ahsoka was good. I thought
Ahsoka was good.
I I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so that's fine. And but I mean, they had Obi-Wan, which I thought was okay. It had its really good moments, and then some really dry moments.
Yeah.
Like it had some epically awesome moments.
I watched the first episode of that one and was like, okay. Like there was like Flea was chasing a little girl through the woods, and I was like,
The better stuff comes towards the end when like Vader, like they really show Vader's power. It had moments of like Rogue One greatness.
okay.
But then it had some really like dry, really bad stuff. And we just finished Acolyte.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one
That
where
was
it's
good.
like I don't know about any of this.
You know what the cool thing about that though is, it could outside of the fact that it's based around Jedi, it's like it's crazy. It's kind of a Star Wars like murder mystery.
Okay.
I liked it as its standalone, and yeah,
Hey, I keep giving Star Wars a chance. I'm watching Andor right now. I have been enjoying it. I've been watching it simultaneously with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Disney Plus, going back
the
and forth
Mormon
between the
Wives,
two, and they're both pretty dramatic.
so
All those Mormon wives would support the Empire for sure.
I haven't watched Andor, but I heard it's very it's less action and very dialogue filled.
I
you
would say
agree?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah?
And
I mean,
every so often you
that's
see a
kinda
TIE
like-
fighter fly by, and you're like, oh yeah, this is Star Wars.
Because that's like you would probably pay more attention to that because that's kind of like you do that's work, right? The like you have to pay attention to dialogue.
It's not even that. It's like it's
Well, you said work, but we didn't even ask what you do on.
That's right. We
work
talked about that
on the show.
We talked about that.
We just mentioned it. Briefly. So your full time job, you were a.
I do for work. I am a closed captioner
Yeah.
and video describer.
So you would actually really pay attention.
I have to, yes.
to stuff like that,
And
right? Like
I've got to
dialogue.
pay attention to the grammar and spelling and how how to describe the sound effects.
That must be the
Oh,
funnest
yeah.
bit. The sound effects.
You know what? I'm going to say this. This is very dry and no one's going to care. In my opinion, this is my hot closed captioning take. I think memes have ruined closed captions.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, because so much of it now is like whatever intensifies and like Like the memes, like people expect there to be a lot of stuff on the closed captions. The best closed captions are the ones that you forget are even there.
Well, I mean, today's world, everybody's watching closed captions. Like,
Yeah, but like I think everybody has a certain expectation of them,
Yeah.
and the end user is supposed to be somebody who's hearing impaired, and it should be so that they can seamlessly enjoy the show.
right.
That's the like number one end user,
Yeah.
and I think
You know
that-
what? Actually, I would actually challenge you on that
Okay, please.
because there's another big user:
Who's that?
people who don't speak English.
That's
Or don't
subtitles.
Sorry, that's subtitles.
Subtitles
Sorry,
and
yeah,
captions
sorry,
are
I'm thinking-
different.
That's right.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I said that wrong.
Subtitles
Yeah.
are
No, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking
are-
subtitles and right.
and now, but they've started cheaping out because you'll watch something on like Amazon where they only have captions and not subtitles.
Right.
You'll be watching a foreign thing and they'll still have the in
Right.
brackets like yells or whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
I know I can hear it.
Right.
But the
Okay.
subtitles are simply supposed to be the text for a non-English speaker.
Yes.
A caption is something for a hearing impaired speaker, and I feel like the internet has made people expect
Okay.
big descriptions of the sound effects. But if you can see an explosion on screen, in what way is explosion in brackets helping you? It's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are supposed to describe off-screen sound effects.
Explosion off screen.
Yeah, like a
Okay.
door opening behind the guy. And why is he turning around? Because the door opened. That's the information you need to fill in.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's kind of the
Bryn's
difference. Yeah.
boring take about accessible media.
Okay.
I like it though.
right.
It gives people a good understanding. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but that's
appreciate it.
no, that's true.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: like someone like myself, where like obviously I'm very privileged in the fact that I can just watch something.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, my wife, I've gotten used to subtitles because my wife her mother tongue is not English, so I don't even see them anymore. Right.
And that's perfect.
Yeah. So I'm so used to it and everything. But the realizing that, like that's kind of something that it's a huge kind of assist for people trying to enjoy the show to the full ability that they can, where I just wouldn't even think of that really when I.
No, the closed captioner's oath or whatever is to make sure that like somebody who can't hear understands everything that's happening.
Right.
And to me, it like describing that the music is suspenseful or whatever doesn't matter to me personally.
Right.
So music intensifies. I've seen that before.
I
You
see
can
it.
do it,
Subtitles.
but it just doesn't really help you.
But that's a subtitle thing. Yeah, like.
Yeah, to me,
And maybe they're just assuming the listener has the volume turned off. I don't know. Yeah.
yes. Well, places now don't want to pay for both subtitles and captions, so they
Right.
just get one caption file and call that the subtitle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's another described something visually impaired described.
Yes, I do that as well. That's
You do
for
that as
people who
well.
are visually impaired. So that's
And how does that work? Kind of.
well, that's like if you're visually impaired and you're watching the show, it's really if it doesn't interfere with dialogue, it's to give you visual information that you wouldn't be getting, so that this dialogue makes sense to you.
So someone kind of says like scrolling across the desert at
Matt
night.
looks at Mike.
Yes, a voice would come on and be like, Matt comes in the door, and so
Yeah.
that when we
I've
hear
turned it
Matt's
on
voice,
my TV by accident before, and it took me like an hour to figure
it's
that
crazy.
out.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you don't want it, then it's very inconvenient.
Yeah.
But it really helped me in the writing of this book, actually.
Man, would it ever?
Full
yeah,
circle.
makes sense.
Yeah. True.
There's a lot of times when I was writing the book where I was like, what visual information would a reader need for this? I was like, what's the video description of this scene? And you just very boringly be like, they're in a room. this is what the room is. These are the people who are there, and then go.
So
And
if you're
it's
still
fun.
listening, writers, turn on your accessibility tonight and get some cool writing tips.
It'll legitimately help you as a writer to
That's a really
to
different way to look at it.
to absorb
Yeah, that's
accessible
cool.
media. Because closed captions should look visually appealing as words.
Yeah.
Should be spaced out to be as easy to read as possible.
Yep.
Helped a lot. Visual description gives you all the information you need to enjoy a scene. Will help you a lot.
So I
have
haven't
a
read
better place than like Lunenburg to be able to like kind of visually, like dialogue visually kind of express a town in Lunenburg.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
There's
absolutely beautiful.
something to look at everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. I grew up
Everything's
there
historic.
and-
It's a UNESCO.
Yeah.
Whole town's UNESCO.
Yeah.
right. It's a must visit,
It's beautiful,
particularly in the
beautiful place.
summertime, but anytime really.
Yeah, and there's a lot of silly stuff about it too.
I think everyone is just in awe when they see the Lunenburg Academy for the first time.
Yeah, and there's a scene in the book that takes place there, and the book launch I think probably will have happened by the time this comes out, but it's going to be there too.
When's the book launch?
June 12th,
That's this Thursday.
That's Thursday.
the day of.
So this is.
If you're listening, turn your car around, go straight to the Lunenburg Academy
Exactly,
right
there you
now.
go,
It's
yeah.
at 6:30 tonight.
There you go.
Okay, chapter 27. Can I just say the
Yeah,
name of this
say
title,
read
title of this
read
chapter?
any chapter aloud. I titled every chapter, and I put a lot of work into making them all fun.
Just because it made me smile right away.
Yeah.
The Back Alley Diddlers.
Yes, that's right. In this book, there is a lot of this book is about like the music scene in the old Lunenburg world,
Okay.
where they play thrash fiddle instead of thrash metal because it's the 1920s.
Yes, that's awesome.
And Tommy Diddler and his Diddlin' Fiddlers are a big band in the so short music scene in this reality. And so they do appear later on in the book. So yes, read any chapter title aloud and I'll explain it.
I was reading the back. When
I just
before
want
you-
to read this little bit from the top of chapter 2, okay? Lunenburg is built on the side of a steep hill that slopes into the harbor. It's as if the town itself is pushing you into the water.
That's right.
That's a great sentence. That sounds like something I would hear in a movie. Though. Yeah,
That's like such a great opening line.
I was reading the back before you showed up. I was reading the back, and I was like, the way I was reading it very like movie voice esque.
Please.
Right? And I was reading it like that, and I was almost like picturing the words like coming up almost like a Star Wars type of thing, you know. But I was thinking like written old timey kind of thing, like in black and white, old timey kind of like scrolling up kind of thing. And that's how I was reading it. And
I know I'm going to love this because this is totally my style of reading.
Go for it.
Yeah.
totally my style.
Line
of reading.
for line.
So it's
Wait,
for grade 6. No?
When a chapter ends on this is the end of the chapter, I'm like, yep.
Oh
perfect.
yeah. There's I could read that part for sure.
Sure.
Yes, there's a part where
Maybe if you want to read a part of the book, hey man,
I'll
we've
read
never
exactly what you just
we've never
said.
done a reading before. Yeah,
I'll do exactly the part that you just said. Rick, Angus Jr. asked, "How do you know so many people from Lockport?" "Because," Rick answered after a deep breath, "I'm from Lockport." Everyone gasped. If you were from Lunenburg and one of your good friends revealed that, you would gasp too. It would be a big enough cliffhanger to end a book chapter on.
That's awesome.
perfect.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Have you ever? I mean, Norm Macdonald. Were you a fan of Norm Macdonald?
Of course.
Okay. Did you ever get a chance to read the book he wrote, Norm Macdonald's memoir?
No, it's on my list.
Man, I tell you, I saw by accident today again. Also, I was scoping you out obviously a little bit today for this show.
Please.
I fell on your Goodreads page. What's
Okay.
funny about that is I could actually see like 96 of the books you read, and you
I was
rated
active on
some of them.
I was active on there for a while before I thought I would be an author, and I
You had like 5 stars and all this, and I was looking at your rating. I'm like, I wonder if this is one of the people you gave a bad rating to. So I was trying to see because you had like one low rating and a bunch of
what
high
was the
ratings.
I forget what it would have been. I stopped it I was really active on Letterboxd for a while too.
Okay,
and then
you
I was
stopped
like,
in 2022.
Yes, I've been actively reading since then, but I don't really rate things anymore.
Oh, it's hilarious. But anyways, no, it's just funny. But anyways, a Norm book, dude. It's like he writes a memoir that is totally anything but a memoir the entire way through, and he's just trolling you page for page. And it is my absolute favorite comedy read, baby. The only sad thing for me is that he never got a chance to do the audiobook.
Oh, I know.
Because it would have been a favorite to listen to.
I'm
100%.
hoping to do an audiobook of this over the summer, but it's like,
Yeah.
as it turns out, releasing a book on its own is incredibly hard.
Yeah, I know.
So the audio one will have to wait.
So are you
until
booking a lot of shows around and stuff? Like where
I'm
else
doing
are
my
you going?
best.
Yeah?
I'm doing my best. I'm doing a lot of podcasts and stuff. I'm hoping
Yeah.
to go back to Toronto at some point and get the reading at on June 12th today.
Yeah.
As my launch. I've got another one on August 2nd in Port Medway. Another one in the LaHave Books on August 12th, and then there'll be more throughout. Hoping to do some Halifax ones, but it's like I live in Liverpool,
Yeah.
and that's the middle.
But you have a partner that lives
nowhere.
up here or something. You said to me. There,
We're having some
texting.
difficulties.
Yeah.
We'll see if I still do by the time this airs. Cut that out. Maybe
Hot take.
we'll see. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, no, that's great, man. And I mean, we might know a couple podcasts you could get on. I have
love to.
my wheels are turning in
I
my
was
head
on
for you.
Yeah.
30 Minutes on High.
That was the one.
Yeah,
One of the
I-
first ones we were going on a little bit earlier. I said, "Geez, you'd be perfect on that show." They're
popped
great
by.
guys, eh?
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah.
Bryant used to be in this group called Bring Back Swayzes that were in Toronto when I was there.
Right.
Go back with him.
Holy smokes! Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
No, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the guys I thought right away. I said, "Geez, he'd be good on that show." And then, yeah. Anyways, but we can talk about that after, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this is a perfect time for you to release a book like this because obviously we're coming into tourist season. It's
Yeah.
a very attractive looking book.
Thank you. My childhood friend, Sean Scary, designed this cover. He's a graphic designer based out of Dayspring in rural Nova Scotia. And I'm so proud of him. I don't know if I'm able to say so, but he is assistant art director on the new season of Trailer Park Boys.
cool.
And he's doing the trades as the assistant art director as well.
Oh, awesome!
And his
yeah.
design business is just like his eye is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's the only guy who could have done this cover. And
That looks great.
I
man.
think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think it does too. And so I think it's a very like it's eye catching, and I think people, I think through the tourist season, I think you won't have a problem selling that book.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'll be at the Lunenburg Craft Festival as well.
Yeah,
Well, hey, whatever you got to do, right? That's awesome.
Yeah. Hope to see you guys there.
Yeah. You probably won't. No, just joking.
you might see us down. My
you
wife and I
guys-
go
yeah.
down. My wife and I we love going. And my son we love going down to the South Shore.
When's the
It's-
Lunenburg Craft Festival?
Mid-July.
Mid-July?
Yeah. I'll be doing some of the Bridgewater farmers markets too, so I'll probably
okay.
see you down there.
Oh yeah, for sure. No,
I'll
we-
be sure to look out for it if I know I'm coming around.
we're actually we're going
where
to
you
my,
are.
my wife and I are going to and son are going to Lunenburg this Sunday actually.
Oh heck
So
yeah! What's going on there?
The ovens is doing some sort of special family day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hugely recommend Rose Bay General Store. Have
It's
you got?
the best.
So good.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
Like so cool.
So good.
We did Gaff Point just on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It's one of my wife's and like I love it, but it's one of my wife's favorite hikes to kind of do around. So we did that on Mother's Day, and we stopped there. And what a gem in the middle of nowhere.
So good. It used
Yeah.
to just be like an agency liquor store. Like it was like nothing. But man, it
Yeah.
is so cool.
It's a cafe now.
Yeah,
the
pizza
way
there is fantastic.
The way they did
it rules.
the liquor store there, it's actually a truly nice liquor store. They have all glass with wood framed. Like you pull it, it looks like you're opening like an I don't know, like
Antique
you're inside
bottles.
of it. Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah, it rules. I will
So cool. Shout out to
spout
them.
off about great places on South Shore anytime.
Oh yeah, they're
Awesome.
great. So I think yeah, if you can get those into places and stuff like that, get the eyes and the torso.
Doing my
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Well, Bryn, I'll be looking for your episode on 30 Minutes on High when it comes out. I think those guys are a lot of fun, so that should be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But I think we should get into 10 questions.
Let's do 10 questions.
Okay.
All right, and
I feel like this
before-
has been very unstructured, and I
this
hope
is how
that
it rolls, man. It's all good. Yeah.
All right.
That's us.
Okay, so 10 questions. Here we go. The Great Lunenburglary. Please pick it up in stores on June 12th.
Maybe in stores. Link to my website, I'll say.
Okay.
Definitely there.
Link will be in this episode description. We'll
Yes.
we'll help you buy it.
Maybe
Maybe
on
through,
the Indigo website too.
maybe through Bryn's trunk, but we'll find it. We'll find a way.
Well,
okay.
you'll have fun.
Okay. Cool.
It's just fun, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get on to the questions here.
Yeah,
so
10 questions.
I'll do question one.
Sure.
What's the one thing you can't live without? These are deep questions. I didn't mentally prepare you for this.
Whoa.
Usually
One thing
you
I
just
can't-
slow down for a second.
Love.
All right, we'll take it, but that was weak.
Yeah.
One word answers. I love one word.
All right.
No, but like I seriously love, you know?
Yeah, you're one of those people.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
all right.
yeah. You know, just like laughter, love, living.
Well,
There you go.
funny you say that. I didn't get a chance. To,
I have a joke for you after this.
I didn't get a chance to say this, but actually, kudos. I'm putting out kind of a book that's warm and fun, good natured.
Oh, thank you.
Because that's not an easy thing to do. And I mean,
Yeah, that was something I kind of ran into when I was trying to find a publisher. Was everybody was like, "It's not really that sad."
Yeah. Does anybody get murdered in it? No, and
Yes.
that kind of thing. And I love seeing good-natured
Murder?
good energy. Yeah.
Good-natured
Yeah.
murder.
Good-natured
Yeah,
energy.
there
and
could be
stuff,
some
right?
fun murders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or fun murders, one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
next
question
story.
number 2. So outside of your book, you can't pick your book, but other than that, what is your favorite book?
My true answer is not fun, but it is.
The dictionary.
It is the autobiography of Malcolm X as told to Alex Haley. Is
Okay.
I think a essential read for absolutely everybody to understand just like life in North America and a really important story told straight from the source. And I truly love that book and reread it.
Cheers to that. That's,
cheers
a,
to that.
that's a really respectable
Great answer.
choice. Yeah,
Great answer. Yeah.
All right. If you had the power to write in another language, which would you choose? That's a heavy question. Thanks, shout out to Soheb for that question. from the
Go
office.
ahead, man.
Hieroglyphics.
Whoa. That's pretty much emojis.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics. All right. Wow.
It would be cool, right?
I like
if I sent you a note and it was like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late, sorry, but it was like a bunch of eyeballs and cat
You were
heads.
so quick with that. I would have been like Japan.
insanely
I would have
nice.
done it. I would have not been. I would have just melted on that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Okay. Question number 4. So, in your story, there are 2 friends.
Yeah.
And
Elias and Angus Jr.
yes, in the movie adaptation of your book, what actors would play those friends?
That's tough because as I was writing it, I pictured it as like cartoon characters more than real people.
Pick
Okay.
cartoon
And
characters.
they're- okay.
That's even better.
Okay, sure. The cartoon character that I guess would be, I think Elias would be played by Bart Simpson or Dennis the Menace, I guess.
I wish I would have wrote Bart Simpson down because I was going to give you Bart Simpson as an
Yes,
example.
it was Bart Simpson or Dennis the Menace, and then Angus Jr. would probably be played by who's a really nervous character. What did it say? Not Huckleberry, Snagglepuss. The guy's always biting his fingernails. Like,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Snagglepuss.
I was going to throw it an obscure one, say like Doug.
Oh,
Doug?
Doug is too sensitive. Doug is good, but he's
Who
a
is
bit,
Doug?
From Doug.
for the titular Doug.
I barely remember that.
His friend was
I can
Skeeter.
remember a
His dog was
picture of
Pork
the-
Chop. He had a crush on Patty
Patty
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Yeah.
I don't remember my brother's birthday, but I know that.
Yeah.
How old are you?
38.
12. No, just joking. No. I'm 40.
No, he was 12 when you watched
41,
Doug.
so maybe that one just missed me on the years or something.
That's me with Pokemon.
Yeah.
That everybody loves
Can't
it.
stand Pokemon.
No, when it came out, I was like, that's for babies.
Yes.
Metal Gear
100%.
Solid rules.
Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Question number 5.
All right. What is something you still get excited for?
I'm excited for, I get excited for movies sometimes still. that
Awesome.
come out.
Ah, okay.
I was really excited for the new Mission Impossible.
The last one was great. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't quite live up to my excitement, but was really excited for the new Final Destination, which ruled. I think when a new big movie comes out, I still
Did
get
you see the
quite
new
excited.
Final Destination one yet?
So good.
Is it good?
It rules.
Yeah.
It was like,
I want to see it.
oh
Me
my
too.
god,
It's kind of a cliche classic, whatever, right?
it rules.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
the opening scene where like everybody dies or whatever is like just
Is it the best one yet?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like
Right.
one of the best like movie scenes. Like it is so.
All right.
But
I'm
honestly,
on board.
name a
rules.
more memorable moment in movie history for people in our age than the logs coming
Everybody
off the back
knows
of
the
the truck.
log truck.
This is comparable.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. All I'll say
Okay.
is there are parts in that movie where I was watching through my fingers.
We might go see it this weekend. So
Go.
All
Okay.
right.
Like it
Okay, cool.
rules.
All right. Cool.
Okay, all right.
Awesome.
So question,
Love it.
question number 6. All right, so
Well, I like this one.
this is an interesting book question. So keep one, burn one.
Oh, book burning. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
really popular.
yeah, really popular.
Countries.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Bama question.
Okay.
So keep one or burn one.
It's
So
not that kind of question.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
I'm gonna blow everyone's mind right now. Don't care about either. Burn them both.
Whoa!
Cheers to that. Cheers
Cheers to be brave enough to say that.
Dude, I couldn't read either one of those books, and I'm not saying I'm not a big book reader, but I read, I do read, but I don't like it when it takes like 25 minutes to describe a ham sandwich.
This is crazy. I'm not a wizards and castles and dragons.
I'm not big into
guy.
that either.
Don't like it that
Yeah,
much.
I do like
I like Lord of the
sci-fi.
Rings.
Like I'm
Yeah.
able to
I do
read
like Lord of the
science
Rings.
fiction. Like
Fair.
Yeah.
Philip K.
I'm wrong. Everyone else loves it, but I don't.
Philip K. Dick books where
Yeah.
I could read anything that guy ever wrote. I thought was cool, and I could just page flip nonstop. But when it gets into the older fantasies, I can't get into it a whole lot.
Any kind of fantasy stuff, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
I mean, Star
they were
Wars and stuff
wizards.
is technically fantasy too, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just for
sci-fi,
me.
though.
It's
And even still, 90% of it does nothing for me.
yeah.
I'm more about give me these Mormon wives. What are they? What is the drama between Taylor and Demi?
All right. then.
I haven't watched this Mormon show yet. What's the show you're referring to?
There's Mormon Wives on Disney
Secret
Plus.
Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrea's watching it.
Okay.
I know she's watching it. I
Yeah.
just kind of leave the room like politely. I'm like,
Oh,
it looks
you're
good.
missing some juicy
Is
stuff.
isn't it good?
I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're trashy. You know, I grew up.
I never thought like a Mormon wife would be trashy. I guess that's not how
they're,
it's
they're trash.
Oh, buddy.
They are trashy.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you like? For me, a big part of growing up, a big tangent on your rapid fire thing, but
Yeah.
That's all good.
growing up, for me, ultimate snow day, sick day, starts with Jerry Springer,
Well, yeah. that-
followed
yeah.
by either Sally Jesse Raphael or Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
And then we're getting into Jenny Jones.
Oh, Jenny Jones. I
and
love
Maury
Jenny Jones.
Povich. Like,
Oh my gosh.
that
you just
going
watch
all that garbage
Oh yeah, you loved it.
into my veins. And the closest that we have now are these reality shows. And I would say that Mormon Wives really has the same kind of like cruelty
As
where they're
like a Springer?
Not quite. We'll never have Springer again.
Man,
No.
Springer,
Spring Energy was
they was like,
crazy.
well, let's bring them out and then ring a boxing bell and two women punch each other.
Oh yeah.
We'll never. That's illegal now. But I mean, Jenny Jones is legal now too. Like Jenny Jones, there was a guy named Rude Jude
Yeah.
who started on that show as somebody where they were like, "You used to bully me, and now I'm hot."
Yeah.
And they brought him on as the bully,
right.
and he bullied the guest so hard that the audience loved it, and they kept bringing him back to bully more guests.
Is that insane?
You would never do that again.
Insane.
But the Mormon Wives kind of
Okay,
captures
so
that
is it
spirit.
just that type of reality like TV show that you like, or do you like the game show type of reality shows as well?
I like it when somebody's like, when they're like, you shouldn't have gone on TV. If you're going to go on TV, we're going to be really mean to you, and your life is going to get fucked up.
Right.
That's what you
I
get.
watch some of the stuff. Like I watch like The Circle, and
Okay.
I watch like Love Is Blind.
Yeah.
But those are like game shows. And there's a new one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's some sort of like, there's a wheel and they like do all these games, and it's a bunch of people who've already been on reality game shows. And they, like,
The traders.
No.
Okay.
But it's only had one season, and so they bring them all from different shows. They bring them back, and anyway, it basically you play these games to try to get your name not on the wheel, but in the end, the wheel just spins, and then if your name is picked, you're gone. Right? There's no
Okay.
voting or anything. Right? Super catty, super
That's-
whatever.
yeah.
My wife was watching it. I came in on like I think episode 3, where I was just like, yeah, throw it on if you want, kind of thing, right? And I'll just do whatever I can while I'm watching it, whatever. And yeah.
To me, if they're like really mean to each other, if it's people who clearly don't like one another, butting heads the whole time, there you go. The Mormon Wives one, the end of the first the episode is this girl gets arrested, and then they're like, cut to 10 months later, she's out of jail and pregnant.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like,
Wow.
I'm in. This is
This you might sell me on this show. I might have to jump in on this one. Yeah. All right. We're gonna get on.
Question number 7.
All right.
Speaking of the end of the world,
Yeah, right.
Okay. So next question. So you might like this as a writer. If the Earth was flat, what do you think? We're just theorizing. The Earth is flat. Okay. What do you think would happen when you reached the edge and kept going? So we could have the two Lunenburglary guys. So this is the next chapter in
all
the
right.
book now.
It's
Now
Great
they're
Lunenburglary at the end of the world.
Yeah.
At World's End.
at world's end, the edge of the world.
What happens when you get there? I think it's just a big mirror.
kind of like Truman Show type.
Yeah, you get
Wow.
there and you just you push on it and just a great big mirror. Maybe
Real-
there's a closet behind the mirror
Ooh.
with some boxes in there.
If I read saw a meme where it said that if the Earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything off by now. Ain't that true?
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn, Matt.
Question number 8. So what is the best thing and the worst thing that's happened to you this year in 2025?
Best thing, I guess, would be getting this book published.
That makes a lot of sense.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Worst thing, probably not going to talk about on the air.
That's
because
fair.
it's happening currently. It's ongoing.
Okay.
Understood.
Ongoing relationship drama that I promised I wouldn't talk about on air.
There you
Okay.
go.
No matter how many pints I had.
Okay. And number 9, Matt?
Oh yeah, is that me or didn't I just ask?
Oh, number 9 is me. Sorry. Yeah, the Belgian moon is strong.
Special
yeah.
double pint edition.
Double point edition. What decade is the last century? Oh, sorry, Jesus, I can't even read. What decade in the last century would you like to live again?
Ones that I have lived or
No,
ones that I could live through.
If you could
You
relive
could
a
go
decade,
back to your book, your 1920s.
Oh, I
or-
wouldn't do
past,
that.
present,
Seems
or
terrible.
I'd say even future, or if you want to do past. So say I want to relive the 80s, or I want to relive. The
I would
90s.
relive the 90s for sure. I think
Yeah?
everyone would.
Well, that's the easiest thing
I
to
mean,
do,
it's
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
right there. It's right there.
It's awesome.
You just have a good time.
Phones came out; they just had a snake on them.
Yeah,
Old
and, like
Nokias.
everyone's nostalgic. You know what? There's a character in this book
Yeah.
who is nostalgic for the 1890s,
Okay.
and he keeps like bothering the kids about it. Maybe I'll find
that's funny as hell.
Maybe I'll find a part to
Okay.
read about that. But he says, yes, the chapter about him is called "He Sings the Songs That Remind Him of the Better Times," from Tubclumpin. And he says,
Yeah. It sounds like Chubb. Yeah, Chubb.
he said, okay, so music today. Feener scoffed and then took a swig from a mason jar full of dark rum. It's nothing like it was back in the 90s. I've been working on the railroad. Bicycle built for two. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Those were undeniable hits. Music meant something back then. A song like Happy Birthday meant it was somebody's birthday.
That's awesome. That's great.
Just thought I'd throw
Ridiculous book.
that- I'd throw that in there.
I love it. Okay, we're on to the last question, brother.
Last question. This
right.
is our theme of the question.
We ask everybody this question.
Same question for everybody. This
Yeah.
one. So, what is one piece of advice that you were given that you would like to give to us and our listeners?
Nobody cares as much about what you're doing as you do.
That is
So,
a great,
like, you think that everybody cares about your thing. They don't really. You
Yeah.
need to convince them.
That's the greatest answer.
that's a great answer because wow, that's so true.
Yep, so true, and applies to everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Just, I forget who gave me that advice, but it's just don't assume that anyone cares about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
No.
they're on that glass mirror on the other side of the
They
edge of the
could be
world, just watching
from
and
behind
laughing
the
at
glass.
you. Right.
Yeah.
And you'll never meet them.
Exactly.
All right.
That's it.
Well, that's a somber note, but let's cheers. on that.
Absolutely.
I love
Cheers to
it.
that, yeah. Oh,
Your orange
so
jumped
cool.
into my glass. Did you ever see that happen before?
did you ever see that where
Wow.
your lemon just-
Okay.
That
Cheers.
rules.
Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.